House of Underdog Talk, man. House of Underdog Pod, man. We back with another one. We jumping straight in. We ain't sticking our toes in and see if the water cold or not. Coming to you with the second biggest sport in the world. Shout out the number one sport, the real football, soccer. Shout out football, man. But these pots is hot right now in the league. You feel me? The Greek freak trade done went down. We got the NBA draft tonight. Whole lot of more shit. Boston don't try to explore Jaylen Brown. Like, there's a whole lot of shit going on right now in the league, man. But we're going to kick it off with OKC trading. No, we not going to kick it off right there. We're going to kick it off with the video I made about the Spurs coming back down from 2-0. I didn't delete the video. If you go listen, my points was still kind of accurate. We just didn't get the job done. So maybe I may have been wrong. Theoretically, scientifically, mathematically, I should have been right. But it happens. Shout out the Knicks, man. Shout out the Knicks for being the champions. Shout out Killer B, man. Jalen Brunson. Shout out Big Cat. Shout out OG, man. Shout out the whole Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely thought the Spurs was going to, won. But I also knew the Knicks had a hell of a chance to win. But the Pots is hot in the league, dog. Oklahoma City Thunder traded Aaron Wiggins to the Atlanta Hawks for 2 second-round picks. My initial thoughts on that, Aaron Wiggins is a solid pickup for a lot of teams in the league, and that's all they let him go for was 2 second rounds. I'm pretty sure a lot of teams like, damn. But, it is what it is. I think OKC been looking, or is going to look to get off on Lou Dort because of contract purposes and financial situations, but I fuck with Lou Dort, honestly. If it was me, I would try to, reconstruct or something on a cheaper deal with him. You know what I mean? Because beneficial for sure. Um, then you got Big Jew from Minnesota, Julius Randle, part of a 3-team trade. Minnesota trades Julius Randle to the Brooklyn Nets for 2 second-round picks. 28th and the 33rd pick, if I'm not mistaken. 28 sound like a first on it, a late first. It would have sounded like. But Nick Claxton gets traded to the Chicago Bulls. And yeah, Minnesota received them draft picks. So obviously Minnesota, they traded Julius to clear up cap space. I'm not that surprised on them not being able to probably find a better deal. But this deal is beneficial because, again, they cleared up money. They cleared up cap space just to have a little bit more flexibility in this offseason. Yeah, I thought Nick Claxton was one of the most, intriguing names and big names when it came to big man in this offseason, because I knew he was gonna be on the move. I was hoping the Clippers was gonna get him, but maybe the Clippers could still get that 7'4" center, that center, out the draft with the 5th pick. But yeah, I like that for Chicago. You got Giddey at your 1. You got my boy Todd, bro, from Chicago. I don't want to say his name wrong. You know what I mean? My boy who had hot in the little music video, out of nowhere, that little Chicago music video. What's my boy name? My boy, Mataz Buzilis. Man, I know I'm saying his name wrong. That's why I said that. But you got him. I'm still a fan of Patrick Williams, bro. You got Nick Claxton. You know what I mean? You got the fourth pick in the draft. Maybe Caleb Wilson. We'll see. So I like what Chicago is doing. I see, like, when they at the trade deadline this past season, I didn't see the vision, so it was too guard heavy. Now I'm starting to see the vision. So yeah, if I'm Minnesota, I'm not mad at it. I know you was gonna look to get them off. It's really but if I'm Brooklyn, I mean, you just took that money, so I'm assuming you knew you wasn't gonna really get a. It ain't really too many big name guys, but it's something you could have did with that money, right? You got MPJ who making about a 40 piece. I think everybody, Terrence Mann making about 15. And I ain't counting on nigga pockets. I'm talking about NBA offseason and expendable moves and free agent money. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think Brooklyn got the 6th pick, if I'm not mistaken. I think they want Bro from Kansas for sure. But that's if he still beat up. But we'll see. We'll see, man. Questionable move by Brooklyn just to take on that extra cap. But to be honest, they kind of only taking on probably 4 million. I think Collapse was making about 24, so just added on an additional 4, which ain't too bad if you look at it like that. But still, though, you know what I mean? Free agent Ayo Dusamino returns with the Minnesota. He had a big playoffs before his injuries. He fits their identity. Great two-way player, can crash the boards and rebound. A big guard, can guard multiple positions, versatile defender, complements Ant. So yeah, I like that. I like that. And then the pot, it kind of overflowed on the stove. Y'all ever had a pot? You might be cooking some noodles in the pot and it's boiling, but the water keep rising to the top and it spill, overflow. Then it make the pot go a little bit more. But yeah, Greek the fucking freak, man. Greek the freak. Traded to the Miami Heat, man. Shout out my nigga Pat Riley, dog. I fuck with Pat Riley. Big risk taker. You know what I'm saying? Know what he doing. Been around the game. Been around the GOATs, the legends, the Brons, the MJs, the Kobe's, the Wades, the Shaqs. This ain't nothing new, and this is not surprising. The Miami Heat are trading Giannis Antetokounmpo. Hey, you talking about Giannis Greek the Freak, bro. And Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaquez Jr. I know I'm about to say bro name wrong. Kasparis Jukanonis, and 3 first-round picks. Let's start with the Bucks. I'm also hearing within this next month they're gonna explore trade options with Tyler Hero. I'm kind of puzzled on that move a little bit. I feel like they could rock out with Tyler Hero, him and Ryan Rollins in that backcourt. But if they don't move him, they got a core. They got a backcourt, like I was just saying. Jaquez Jr. is an all-around player. You still got Kuz control. Khalil Ware, a good two-way big man who can stretch the floor. And my guy name who I couldn't pronounce, a good project. A good two-way, a good physique and big body, big guard. You know what I mean? Versatile type of player that's still up and coming, that you can kind of mold still. So I like it. I hope they still trying to contend. They do got 2 first-round picks this year. They still got a Miles Turner. I ain't even say Miles Turner. You know what I mean? They Miles Turner and Kuz control. They still got and like I said, they exploring Tyler Hero, so they still got very good expendable contracts that they could move. No cap. Miles Turner won the Cruise Control and the Hero. So I don't think Milwaukee's done. I hope they still try to compete, you know. They're in Wisconsin. I think Green Bay out there, Green Bay Packers. So if Green Bay compete, y'all should be trying to compete. It ain't too much going on in Milwaukee as is. So make that bitch a sports time. Make that bitch gather you a real fan base now that knows each and every year you're focused on still trying to win. You feel me? So then let's switch over to Miami, bro. Shout out again. Shout out Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra, the whole Heat culture. But their identity is definitely defense. You was able to keep Davion Mitchell. You was able to keep Andrew Wiggins. You still got Giannis, and you got Bam. Um, you still got Nikola Jokic, which that contract is great. It's about $15 million, if I'm not mistaken. Him and Andrew Wiggins' contract for the Heat are the two best assets that they have, and Davion Mitchell though, because he got about $12 million. But I would think they would probably want to keep him though. You know what I'm saying? But let's just say they move Andrew and Nikola. You can expect that just off the contracts. But if they don't, or if they do, they still need to get shooting, right? They got their main pieces now. Again, let's just say they wanted to keep the roster. I still trade Nikola, but let's just say they wanted to keep Wiggs and Davion Mitchell. You still got to get shooters and about another playmaker. One or two more playmakers, but really more shooters. You know what I'm saying? A playmaker who can create for others and self. For real, for real. But their identity is definitely defense. You know what I'm saying? If they can complement shooters around Giannis and Bam, we talking about a real contender here. Because we know the system within that they have as far as winning. Out of the last 10 years, who's been going to the conference finals and the finals the most out of the East? It's either Boston or Miami for sure. Facts. So, no doubt in my mind, I know what Miami doing. I know they're going to get shooters. I like this move for Miami. Love this move. Because this defense going to be crazy for sure. Really intrigued to see what they're going to do with Wiggs and Nikola. But they contrast is just too lovely as far as being expendable and what you can match that up with to get another great complimentary piece. You feel me? So I don't know, bro. That shit just heating up though. Our season just taking off, bro. What is Boston gonna do with Jaylen Brown? You know, they was exploring his name in the Giannis talks. You know what I mean? So, you know, he was live streaming with all this shit, you know. Basically, he summed it up. All this shit, all this trade talk, you want me traded, you turning me into a monster. Yeah, he wanted them. You feel me? He wanted them just keeping receipts and taking notes and remembering. So now it's like, if you Boston, you know JB, rebel, real rebel. Y'all gotta have some hard conversations now. Like, what's up? Gotta talk to him about it. You know what I mean? Gotta see what's going on. So, you know what I mean? We just gotta see now. Simple as that. Simple as that. I do think, I don't know, bruh. Nigga like JB, bruh, he taking that shit personal. I just had a hell of a season. I really was an MVP candidate. You know what's going on with these politics. You know how they come at me. I had a second in the East the whole regular season for real. And we went game 7 in the playoffs and Jason Tatum came back but wasn't available game 7. So that's just to say he was healthy and would have played game 7. We probably would have won. You know what I mean? So definitely gonna have some conversations there. Trae Young re-signed with the Wizards, 4-year, 212. I think, speaking of the draft, right, and the Wizards and Trae Young, Because the Wizards signed Trey is like a ball dominant guard, a great pick and roll player. To me, I always say Trey's next ceiling is being able to kind of play off ball like a Curry. How he's just as dangerous off ball as he is on ball. I think he's slowly coming into that way. If you got the first pick, man, I'm gonna be honest. AJ is nice. Not gonna cap, bro. Skill set, you know what I mean? All that. A kid nice, bro. We all know that. Darren Peterson, I think because star one of your star players is a point guard in his style of play, I think Darren Peterson would be a better fit because he can play off ball and come off screens and play off of Trey. I think AJ kind of he's a little bit more ball dominant than Peterson. But he got the intangibles to be a better player for sure. He definitely has the intangibles. 6'10". But it's just they in a tough spot. You can't go wrong with either or. It's just if you get AJ, we gotta make for his ceiling and for your ceiling, both of these cats gonna have to really learn how to play out ball. I'm gonna be honest. That's just if you go AJ. To me though, I'm still standing firm. I think Caleb Wilson the best player in the draft. I think he got the most upside. I think the mentality is already there. I think he a killer already. I think AJ a killer. I think Peterson a killer. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I think Caleb the best player in the draft. I think Utah's still in a funky spot because you don't need AJ, you got Ace. You really don't need Peterson, you got Ace. You know what I mean? But you got the second pick though. I would honestly look to explore that because yeah, it's just tough. You already got Ace Bailey. You feel me? You still got Laurie. Like you got Jaren Jackson. You're gonna re-sign Walker Kessler. Y'all gonna get on the same page with that contract situation. And your guard play is great. So it's like, I don't know. If I'm Utah, I would trade it, or I would get the Boozer one, the Boozer twin, because I know the Boozer twin is more of an all-around basketball player. I think he has more IQ than both of those, or than all three, than Caleb Wilson as well at this point in time. I think he's a little bit more polished and ready to be a role player right away and not have to. He's ready to fit into a system rather than having to adapt because they're so used to being the guy. And so, but we'll see. We'll see because I think Utah know they can't afford to do that too because if you give Memphis a Darren Peterson or an AJ, whichever one the Wizards don't decide to do, or you give them a Caleb, like, and you settle for the Boozers, like, we had a chance in that draft class to get one, you know what I mean? So that's why I would say I would trade it because number 2 pick, you can get something. It's just like, if you gonna get something, you gonna get something that's already better than Ace Bailey. And Ace Bailey would have to respect, like, learning from him. But don't get somebody who you have to, like, shit, him and Ace Bailey down there the same player. Like, you know what I mean? Or, damn, is he really gonna play? Like, we already young heavy over this motherfucker. Like, but if I'm the Jazz, I'm either drafting the Boozer twin or I'm trading the pick. And I made a video earlier, like, I think Memphis and Chicago have the real 1 and 2 pick because Memphis for sure. Because if you go AJ, if you go Peterson, I go Caleb Wilson easy. If one of y'all go Peterson or AJ, then y'all go Boozer, shit, I get one of the other two that was projected top 2. So it's like, Yeah, that's Memphis and Chicago got the real 1 and 2 pick. I do think if the Clippers with the 5th pick, if they can get a Day Mariah, I know I probably said his name wrong. He's the 7'4" center. They can get him with that 5th pick. And then, obviously if Brooklyn can get the guard from Kansas with the 6th pick, that's how it should fall. Or I don't know, we'll see. Think Utah should trade the pick. And that Wizards, it ain't as easy as you think it is because your 2-star players, the one who's gonna have the ball in his hands the most. Just gotta think about it, like, you know what I mean? But we'll see. Like I said, the pots is hot. NBA draft tonight. Big trades done went down. More big trades and signings, moves on the way. Stay fucking tuned, dog. Like, I think Detroit, if Milwaukee is gonna explore Tyler Hero still, Detroit gotta get on that. They gotta go get Tyler Hero. They need another combo guard or scoring guard who can create to complement Cade. You know what I'm saying? Moves on the way, man. Just stay tuned, bro. This whole little House of Underdogs gonna get better. Just rock out with me, man. Rock out with me. Stay tuned.